Stanford University.
I know when I was starting, there was a model, which was you didn't do television, you started doing indies and you got into feature. If you did television, you were kind of like looking for the right TV show. You know, now years ago when I got approached to do a reality series, where I got followed around as an actress, aspiring actress, my agents were like, no, you're not doing that. Now you say, hey, there's a web series. They're like, do it, just do it. They're like, now there is no formula. And that's the biggest thing. Like, you cannot predict that one road is the right road anymore. Nobody knows what's going to work.
Everything's kind of happening all at once.
Everything is happening, and the invention of the medium is happening right now. So it's exciting, and it's also that much more saturated. Because now everybody can take a camera. They don't need someone to give them permission. The storyteller is now you. And so what you do with that becomes so empowering that people are interested in the voices that come out of that. Whereas before, you had to sort of follow a kind of classy approach to your career, a sophisticated approach about being somewhat anonymous and being a little enigmatic. Now it's all about how you expose yourself. It's very, very different in that sense.
So the old ladders are kind of the old ladders have just kind of broken down in a way.
Yeah.
It's all kind
to the point where I was going to say, and I think it's lovely and wonderful that anyone can just go out and shoot something. But on the other hand, anyone can go out and just shoot something to the point where there's so much garbage out there, to be honest. I'm just like, people will send me things and I'm like, oh my God, at what point then? I mean, it's all subjective, right? But there has to be some, and I guess things fall off, the things that are great rise, you want to believe that, you hope that, but sometimes things become so saturated that you end up not being able to find as much as you want, because it's like everybody does do it. Everybody has a reality show, everyone has a this. It's like one of those things where you're just like, oh my God. There is a skill to what we do, and I think that needs to be just kind of talked about a little bit more, in the sense that, or just remembered, just respected a bit, which can be learned through doing it yourself.
Yeah.
But I think, again, what is art? That's a big question and subjective. But I think having, and everyone will answer that for themselves, but keeping that, in mind as opposed to just like throwing out anything possible just because you can. I don't know if that's the answer either.
But it is interesting. I mean, for Asian Americans in particular, YouTube has been a huge promotion machine, right? There's all these brand new, Ryan Higa is on this new, whatever, Spike, or I can't remember, Comedy Central is trying to do this big comedy thing. And he wouldn't have been there had he not been getting gazillions of views on YouTube. And so there's these sort of new openings, but I guess, there's the craft question, right? So you've been working since you were 5. You all have been working at your craft in such deep kinds of ways. Do you feel like a bit of a dinosaur, having gone through like these academies and worked on all these different types of skills?
As we're sitting here at
Not at all. I'm excited about revolution. My next film is going to be 3D and projected on the side of McDonald's. The next level. Always been on the next level.
Well, what's funny that you just asked that, because I was just saying to both Sheetal and Michelle that I have been feeling lately like a total rookie when it comes to acting, because, actually when we shot the second season of Nice Girls Crew, my father passed away. And he passed away just weeks before we started shooting it. And my approach to when we were going to do it, I didn't know what was happening. It was almost like I was so grateful for the work. I was so happy to be doing it, but I didn't know what to do with my script, almost. Like I couldn't approach it the same way I approached everything else, just because my life was so crazy and these emotions were just novel. And it's to the point now that whenever I feel like with acting, I feel like a rookie. Like I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, even though I will look at the resume, I will look at the reel, I have it there. But whenever I think about, whenever I'm like in my meetings or whatever, it suddenly, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And it's exciting.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
It's exciting. It's great. It's actually, there's a comfort in it because I don't want to stop learning. I don't ever want to feel like I know what I'm doing completely, that I just can go on autopilot. So I do feel like a dinosaur sometimes in the sense that like sometimes I'll do these projects just to do them, and I will realize just I will see somebody and be like, that was me 10 years ago, and I know exactly what they're thinking. But at the same time, I'm there playing in the sandbox, playing with them, and they're teaching me things that I had no idea about. So it is exciting, but at the same time, I do wonder what I'm still doing in the sandbox.
So let's talk about Nice Girls Crew. First of all, why the name Nice Girls Crew? Because you guys are really mean to each other. You know what I mean?
They're nicer in the second season.
They're nicer in the second season? Okay.
We're honest. We're not mean. We're honest.
You're honest.
You know, we're telling it like it is.
I see. Okay.
That was your title choice, right? Nice Girls Crew?
Well, the title came from a G-Chat correspondence because we're so cutting edge. We're not dinosaurs. We use G-Chat. and
this is pre-Google Hangout?
This is pre-Google Hangout.
Okay.
But post MySpace.
Friendster.
And Christine Kwan and I were going back and forth on the G-Chat, and it was a really creepy kind of weird late night conversation we were having. We were just throwing names back and forth, and just the name kept permutating. And I was really into like America's Best Dance Crew at that time. That's a cutting edge show. You guys might not have heard of it. America's Best Dance Crew.
He's like dancing.
It was kind of like a dinosaur.
I think everyone heard of it.
And Christine, and we just went back and forth. We're like you know, nice something. They were like girl something, and then just the words just formed Nice Girls Crew, and it was kind of like I was like that felt. I guess we're just tired at that point. We're like, no more.
Gotta turn the title.
It sounds like a San Jose freestyle crew, though, right? Like it's Nice Girls Crew. It's like a high energy.
Do you have a dance that goes along with that?
Yeah.
Maybe later.
You want to do it?
Off the video. Off the video.
Extra scene.
My mom was watching. You know, I can't. Hi, Mom. Wanted to do that for a long time.
Thanks for joining us. So Nice Girls Crew. Sorry.
Back on track.
I lost my train of thought, dude.
You were about to say, no, I'm just kidding.
What was I about to say? No?
No, you were talking about Nice Girls. No, I'm just kidding.
So, Nice Girls Crew. Nice Girls. So, here's the thing, right? Nice Girls Crew. Everybody, you all have your own neuroses as characters, right? You all have your own things that grate on each other, which creates a lot of the laughs and that kind of thing. I'm really curious, like, how you all kind of came up with the characters, because what I understand is that this was somewhat more of an open process than is usually done in projects such as this, that some of it in that sense was improvised, the characters and that kind of thing. I wonder if you guys could talk a little bit about that.
T, do you want to start?
I'll start. I'll set the table. So I think, you know, I wanted to work with these girls. Like first, like they've been, you know, friends. I've admired their work over the years on the circuit, and it started at this sort of salon thing that we were all sort of part of, Asian American Salon, and we kind of reconnected. And like me and Michelle and I talked about doing something. Anyway, the point is that these three girls are the ladies, and so part of, you know, Christine and I went back and forth. How do we create, you know, our scale was limited. We couldn't necessarily shoot helicopter shots, and we couldn't, you know, get out into the so we had to kind of keep it all into one space. We came with the book club thing, and then, you know, we had to sort of create personas based on who we thought. So originally we said maybe they could play versions of themselves with their names, you know, and we brought that idea to them, and they categorically said we aren't doing that. Okay, shit. So we go back, and then we come up with characters, and we named these characters based like they're our friends' names. You know, like Geraldine is one of Christine's. Christine left, actually. She's
no.
No, she just stepped out.
Oh, okay.
We kind of gave them names of people that we knew, and then sort of drew these things and handed it to them, and they would come back with their idea. And so then that became an organic process of coming up with the three distinct characters. But we kind of wanted to have a little bit of balance, and we kind of projected how we thought they could complement each other, and then
we destroyed it.
And then they destroyed that.
And then we'd be shooting it into news and be like this.
all I said is action and cut. Like, I don't even know why. They directed it.
We decided to just not take any of his ideas.
We just
kidding.
took over.
No, Tanuj came up to us, and you know, we all know each other. We knew each other because we had worked together in some capacity, and you know, it's rare for any creator to come to you and say, hey, I want to create a show based on you and your ideas. And that's a real luxury, which is what I was saying. I mean, most of the time, people create in their little cave, and they come out, and then they want to fit people to their ideas. And that's generally what happens. If you're able to get into this process of development, you have much more say, so it's much more gratifying, I think. And so he presented me with my character, and I kind of said, oh, I think I've done that. I've done a version of that. It was kind of an uptight, anxious.
Type A,
right.
Triple A.
I feel like I had done that, so I wanted to do something a little more extreme, a little bit more crazy. So I was like, I want to change my look, so I decided to unpermed hair. And later I realized I was just trying to evolve into my mom. Because I looked at a picture of myself, and I was like, this is my mom. Oh my God. So.
First time I'm hearing of this.
I know. When I realized it was a sad day.
Frightening moment.
But so that was sort of my evolution. I wanted to do something kind of outrageous. So a lot of the moments in Nice Girls Crew, a lot of them I'm not proud of.
First time I've heard that.
But I took risks, and that was why I liked this project. I felt like someone was coming to me and saying, I want to do something around you, and because their trust was in me, I felt comfortable enough to take risks and potentially fail, which is something you're not really afforded. You're really not allowed to fail when you're on primetime television or on a feature.
I mean, the nice thing is that we were around. I know that I feel like we all share this idea because we were around people that we considered our friends, and we were in a space, especially the first season, of just us working through it. I don't know if I would have had that kind of freedom in another space, you know, just to be able to try things and us, you know, you don't give people notes when you're on set, but we were really helping, like really pushing each other to really go there, you know, in terms of the classic environment on a set. None of the stuff, a lot of the stuff that we did would never fly.
But give me an example or two.
Well, I mean, for example, if you're on set, you really just deal with your own stuff. You're dealing with your own zone, and
your own lines.
Your own. I mean, certainly when you're working with someone, you're working with them, but you would never give them an idea. I mean, you might, depending on your relationship, but you wouldn't so freely give them notes or ideas, or, you know, there's a code certainly with actors, and you would go to the director and not necessarily, you know, but we were also free with each other that, you know, or if there was a line that normally actors don't want to give up lines, but there'd be a line, I'm like, I don't think this is a Lena line, I think this is a Geraldine line, or I think Sophie should say this, don't you think, you know, and so there was no ego, there was none of that. It was just really what would make this the best product. And that was that's the most important thing for us. And that's really great, you know, to kind of leave your ego out and really do it about that. Because I know that we were all like, no, you should say that. No, you should do that. You know? And as we were working out our stuff, we really encouraged each other to kind of go there. And that would not have happened in another environment.
And it's partly is like it's not having a fear. Like our episodes, we kind of grew up in front of people in the show. You know, I think from the first episode to the last episode, there's like a change in how everyone's working together. There's a change in chemistry. And even the second season, you know, it's growing and growing and growing, and not being afraid to share that process with people, you know, online. You know, a lot of that first season could have been just private development for a year, just on a regular TV show, you know.
Yeah.
But just to be able to show that change, you know, bring people along with our growth, because we're still trying to figure out what it is too, you know. And that's sort of about how, you know, this time has changed. You know, you can do that, and it's part of our story.
And also how best, I think when the three of us got together and read it out loud for the first time, I think we naturally had instincts for where we best lay within each other. So it wasn't about trying to figure out where you were. It was really like how the three of us together work the best in this avenue. And it wasn't about anyone shining or anyone doing well. It was just really a very nice ensemble, which is so nice and rare.